Hello and welcome to Radiance Point. Radiance Point is a place that celebrates your well-being and your aliveness. My name is Jessie, and this is a video that is part of a series about how to position your body when you'd like to be comfortable doing something meditative. And in this particular video, I'm going to talk about how to set one's body up when you'd like to do something meditative from the floor, from a seated position on the floor. With any shape that your body is going to take for meditation, the utmost important thing is your comfort and safety. So that is always your priority. There are two criteria that I find generally really helpful regardless of what position your body is going to be in, and that is thinking about symmetry of the body, keeping the weight equally distributed between sides to the extent that that's accessible for you, as well as having an elongated spine, sense of length in the spine. This helps the breath flow smoothly, also helps alertness and engagement. So when seated on the floor, these two things, the symmetry and the elongated spine, apply. You'll also want to feel like the parts of your body touching the floor are really supported. So you in no way need to hold or have action around parts of the body that are touching the floor. So for me right now, that's the front of my feet, the shoelaces side of my feet, the shins, the front of my knees are touching the floor. And I'm seated back on my heels. However, I have yoga blocks underneath me, so I can feel my sits bones, those two bony structures on your underside. I can feel those rooted into the yoga block. So I'm feeling firmly connected with any surfaces my body is touching. Also, my hands are palms face down on my thighs. You might choose other locations for the hands. Again, are they grounded and rooted on whatever surface they're touching, whether that is your body or another surface, in a way that does not require holding or efforting. So the hands should be able to be at ease. So one thing I have done here to really support myself is I am up on two yoga blocks. If I were seated back on my heels, I would feel a lot of strain in my knees, and it would be a position that I'd want to immediately get out of and not spend meditative time in. So I'm going to shift myself to the side so you can see that my hips are elevated. They are higher than my knees, which is so helpful in any seated posture. So I have two yoga blocks on their flattest size, and I stack them up between my ankles, and then I'm able to sit back, have this elevated hip structure. My pelvis feels fully supported. My spine can then be elongated. I know I'm symmetrical because I can feel my two sits bones. And so this is promoting a lot of comfort and ease for me. All the meanwhile, the parts of my body touching the ground feel like they can truly rest on Mother Earth. So you could use yoga blocks. You might also take blankets or cushions and put them on top of your heels and calves and sit back on those. And you can use any number. 1 yoga block, 3 blankets, 4 pillows. It's really what is giving you the most support. You should feel free to prop yourself generously. Another position that is very popular for seated meditative experiences is cross-legged. So that is simply having ankles and shins one in front of the other, knees are out to the side, and I again can feel my sits bones on the ground. So this is fairly symmetrical, and I'm able to have an elongated spine. And it's helpful if you do cross-legged positions that you switch the cross of the leg from time to time, again, to support the symmetry of the body. The idea that our body parts that are touching another surface are relaxed and steady is still very important here, as is the idea of elevating the hips. So right now I have no elevation, and while my body can handle that, I feel like I'm working harder in my lower core. There's a little clenching, and I can feel some compression in my lower back as well. And so I would, again, being very generous with props, sit up on 1 or 2 blankets. So I would just slide those underneath my bum, and my sits bones would come up onto the blankets. And here, I'm able to feel so much more space in my pelvic region. I feel like this is supporting the elongation of my spine. The symmetry hasn't changed. The parts of my body connecting with the floor still have that availability. Now, you might find when you get into a cross-legged position that one knee is a little bit higher, or you feel a bit tilted, or just like the knees feel like they could use some support. They're hanging out in space a little bit. So again, the props can come in to support you. Yoga blocks on any height under the knees that you need. For instance, for me, my left knee is a little bit higher up. I might take just a little pillow or crumpled up fabric, really, again, anything that is comfortable for you, and place it under my left side, and then I really feel symmetrical. So props can be so supportive in getting us into a place where our bodies feel fully supported. They're touching surfaces that can fully take the weight and burden off of us, so there is no efforting. Props can help elongate the spine, elevate the hips, and all of this will create an experience where you can maintain whatever shape you've chosen with your body for a longer time while being comfortable. At some point, any posture becomes uncomfortable, and so you should feel free to shift into something that again promotes the most comfort and safety in your body. I hope these guidelines are helpful for you in any times you're wanting to cultivate some stillness while in a seated posture on the floor or ground. I'm wishing you very well in all your ventures. Take good care.